There is a $4 powder made from 80-million-year-old fossils. It kills every crawling insect it touches physically, not chemically. Bugs cannot develop resistance. It never expires. The EPA registered it in 1960, and the pest control industry, worth $26 billion, has never once told you about it. In the next few minutes, I am going to explain exactly what this powder is, where it comes from, how it kills insects at a microscopic level, what the peer-reviewed science says, why no bug has ever developed resistance to it, and why an industry that charges you thousands of dollars per treatment has absolutely no incentive to tell you it exists. Let me start at the beginning. And the beginning is not decades ago. It is not centuries ago. It is 80 to 120 million years ago, during the Cretaceous period, when the planet looked nothing like it does today. The continents had not yet finished separating. Dinosaurs still walked the earth, and the oceans, warm, shallow, sunlit oceans that no longer exist, were filled with trillions of microscopic, single-celled organisms called diatoms. Diatoms are a type of algae. They are among the oldest photosynthetic organisms on the planet, and they do something no other microorganism does. They build their cell walls out of silica, pure, amorphous silicon dioxide. Glass. Each diatom constructs an intricate shell called a frosteel, and when the organism dies, that shell sinks to the bottom of the ocean floor, or the bottom of a lake bed, and it stays there. It does not decompose. Silica does not biodegrade. It just accumulates, layer after layer after layer, for tens of millions of years, until you have thick deposits of soft, chalky, off-white sedimentary rock made entirely of fossilized glass shells. That rock is called diatomite. When you mine it, dry it, and crush it into a fine powder, it becomes diatomaceous earth. And according to a review published in the journal Molecules in 2021 and indexed by the National Institutes of Health, diatomaceous earth holds, and I am quoting, significant promise to prevent and control a wide range of arthropod pests. That is the scientific way of saying it kills bugs. All of them. Every crawling species tested against it. Now let me explain how it works, because this is the part that separates diatomaceous earth from every chemical insecticide ever manufactured. Chemical pesticides work by attacking an insect's biology. Pyrethroids attack the nervous system. Neonicotinoids attack nicotinic acetylcholine receptors. Organophosphates inhibit the enzyme acetylcholine. Every chemical insecticide targets a biological pathway, a system that lives inside the insect's body. And because biology is governed by genetics, and genetics mutate over generations, insects can and do evolve resistance. This is not speculation, it is documented fact. A study reported by Virginia Tech in 2016 found that bedbug populations in Cincinnati were 163 times more resistant to imidacloprid, a neonicotinoid, than laboratory populations. 163 times. The same study found resistance levels of 226 times for thiamethoxam and 358 times for acetamiprid for the isolated laboratory population. Just 2.3 nanograms of imidacloprid was enough to kill 50% of the bugs for the field-collected resistant population. It took 1,064 nanograms. The chemicals are not working. The bugs have won the chemical war. The EPA itself acknowledges on its own website that some bedbug populations have become resistant to pyrethrins and pyrethroids. And a study published by researchers at North Carolina State University confirmed resistance to fipronil as well. The industry's entire chemical arsenal, pyrethroids, neonicotinoids, fipronil, is failing against the very insects it was designed to kill. Diatomaceous earth does not work like any of those chemicals. It does not target a biological pathway. It does not attack the nervous system. It does not interfere with a receptor or inhibit an enzyme. It works through a purely physical mechanism, and that mechanism is devastatingly simple. Each particle of diatomaceous earth is composed of 80 to 90% amorphous silicon dioxide, according to the National Pesticide Information Center at Oregon State University. Under an electron microscope, those particles are covered in sharp, irregular edges, the remnants of the diatom's original silica shell. When a crawling insect walks through diatomaceous earth, those microscopic edges damage the waxy lipid layer of the insect's epicuticle, the thin waterproof outer coating that prevents the insect from losing moisture. The 2021 review in Molecules confirmed this mechanism. Death occurs through desiccation, caused by sorption and abrasion of the cuticular wax layer. Once that layer is breached, the insect begins losing water through its exoskeleton. It cannot stop the loss. It cannot repair the damage fast enough. Within 24 to 72 hours, the insect is dead, not from poison, but from dehydration. And here is the critical point that the entire pest control industry does not want you to understand, because the kill mechanism is physical, not chemical. There is no biological pathway for the insect to mutate around. You cannot evolve resistance to a particle that physically cuts you open. It is the same reason you cannot evolve resistance to sandpaper, or to gravity, or to a knife. The mechanism operates outside of biology. It operates in physics, and physics does not negotiate with genetics. The EPA first registered diatomaceous earth as a pesticide active ingredient in 1960, according to WebMD and the EPA's own RAE registration documents, that is 65 years ago. In those 65 years, no population of any insect species has ever developed documented resistance to diatomaceous earth. Not bedbugs, not cockroaches, not ants, not fleas, not ticks, not silverfish, not earwigs, not mites, not beetles, not a single species. Compare that to pyrethroids, which began losing effectiveness against bedbugs within 2 decades of widespread use. Compare it to neonicotinoids, which bedbugs developed extreme resistance to within roughly a decade. Compare it to DDT, which was the miracle insecticide of the mid-20th century, used to nearly eradicate bedbugs in the United States until it was banned by the EPA in 1972 for environmental and health reasons. And when bedbugs resurged decades later, they had already developed resistance to it. Every chemical eventually fails. Diatomaceous earth has not failed in 65 years, and there is no scientific mechanism by which it can. Now let me tell you what it kills, because the range is extraordinary. The product label on EP, a registered diatomaceous earth, available at any hardware store in the United States for roughly $4 per 4-pound bag, lists the following target: pests, ants, bedbugs, cockroaches, fleas, silverfish, earwigs, millipedes, centipedes, and crickets. Independent sources and user reports extend that list to include ticks, mites, beetles, spiders, and slugs. The Safer brand product page on Home Depot's website states it kills crawling insects within 48 hours. A review on PetMD notes that diatomaceous earth can begin killing fleas in just a few hours. The mechanism does not discriminate by species. If the insect has an exoskeleton with a waxy lipid layer, and virtually all crawling insects do diatomaceous earth can breach it, and here is what makes this even more remarkable. The FDA recognizes food-grade diatomaceous earth as generally safe for human consumption. When added to food at concentrations of up to 2%, the National Pesticide Information Center at Oregon State University confirms this. Harris brand food-grade diatomaceous earth, sold at Home Depot, is labeled GRAS, generally recognized as safe by the FDA. It is used in grain storage to protect crops from insect infestation. The USDA's Agricultural Research Service has published studies showing that diatomaceous earth applied to stored grain can suppress insect infestations and potentially eliminate the need for chemical fumigation. It is safe enough to put in your food. It is deadly enough to kill every crawling insect in your house, and it costs $4. Let me put the economics in perspective. The United States pest control industry generated over $26 billion in revenue in 2025, according to Briostac's industry analysis. EBS World projects that figure to reach nearly $30 billion by 2026. A report from PCT Online found that 85.4% of residential pest control revenue comes from recurring service agreements, subscriptions. The business model is not built on solving your problem. It is built on managing your problem indefinitely, with regular visits, regular sprays, and regular invoices. Orkin's own financial impact study found that respondents treated for bedbugs an average of 7.1 times every 5 years. The average bedbug treatment costs between $1,500 and $5,000, according to this Old House Home Advisor and Pest. One Reddit user reported being quoted $3,000 for a single heat treatment. A FeeXR.com estimate puts the average at $1,000 per treatment for a moderate infestation. Multiply that by 7 treatments over 5 years, and you are looking at $7,000 to $35,000 on chemicals that peer-reviewed research has confirmed the bugs are already resistant to. A $4 bag of diatomaceous earth, stored dry, lasts indefinitely. It does not expire. It does not degrade. It was already 80 million years old when you bought it. Fossilized silica does not have a shelf life. You buy it once, you apply it once, and it continues killing for as long as it stays dry and in place. I want to be honest about the limitations, because this is not a miracle product. It is a real one, and real products have boundaries. Diatomaceous earth works best in dry conditions. If it gets wet, the particles clump together and lose their abrasive effectiveness until they dry out again. It does not kill insects instantly. The desiccation process takes 24 to 72 hours. And in humid environments, it can take longer. It must make physical contact with the insect. It does not repel bugs from a distance, and it does not work as a bait. It does not discriminate between pest insects and beneficial insects. If a beneficial insect crawls through it, it will die too. You must use food-grade diatomaceous earth, not pool-grade. Pool-grade diatomaceous earth has been calcined, heated to extremely high temperatures, which converts the amorphous silica to crystalline silica. Crystalline silica is dangerous to inhale and is classified as a carcinogen. Food-grade diatomaceous earth contains less than 1% crystalline silica and is recognized as safe by both the EPA and FDA. Even with food-grade diatomaceous earth, you should avoid inhaling large quantities of the dust during application. Use a mask, apply it in thin layers, and keep it out of high-traffic areas where it could become airborne. These are real limitations, but they are manageable ones, and they do not change the fundamental reality of what this product is and what it does. Here is what I want you to take away from this. There is an industry worth $26 billion that survives on recurring revenue. 85% of its residential income comes from subscriptions, repeat visits, repeat sprays, repeat bills. The chemicals that industry sprays are chemicals that the bugs it is hired to kill have already developed, documented, peer-reviewed extreme resistance to pyrethroids have failed. Neonicotinoids are failing. Every chemical solution follows the same arc effectiveness: resistance, obsolescence, because that is how biology works. And sitting on the shelf of every hardware store in America, priced at $4, is a bag of 80 million year old fossilized silica that kills every crawling insect it touches through a mechanism that biology cannot circumvent. It is EPA registered. It is FDA food grade recognized. It has an indefinite shelf life. It has 0 documented cases of insect resistance in 65 years. It kills bedbugs, cockroaches, ants, fleas, ticks, silverfish, earwigs, mites, beetles, crickets, and centipedes, and the industry that profits from your bug problem does not mention it. Not because it does not work, but because it works too well, costs too little, and never needs to be reapplied on a subscription. The pest control industry does not sell pest control. It sells dependency. A $4 bag of fossil powder does not create dependency. It creates independence. And that is why you have never seen it in an ad, never heard it from an exterminator, and never been told that the cheapest product on the shelf is also the only one the bugs cannot beat. They are not hiding it. They are just hoping you never look down.